music, like, because music, Beach Boys is before people knew about Vietnam.
Mm.
And then, so a lot of bands were associated with the more conservative, I would say, here are the bands that would be the Vietnam vet guys. Not the hip music, it was anti-war. I would say the Beach Boys, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, the Young Rascals. Like, there's certain bands.
Damn, it sucks to have PTSD and listening to fucking the Beach Boys.
It was probably
waking up in
yeah.
nightmare every day.
Well, then they got weird. The Beach Boys ended up getting kind of weird.
Sure. Well, I don't want to discuss it unless you guys watch the movie.
Oh,
because it's
true,
such
true.
a known entity. But the whole thing is that crazy Mike Love, he's the lead.
Yeah.
He was the one, he tried to sue Brian Wilson for using the name Beach Boys when Brian Wilson wrote all the songs.
That's fucked up.
But then he gives this speech. You have to watch this speech of him at the when they were inducted into the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in like 1988. Because everybody said he was kind of a douchebag, He gets up there and he goes, "This is 1988. 88.
Yeah.
And he goes, Beach Boys, I'd like to thank, we had more #1 hits than anybody else. We toured the world 16 months in a row. I'd like to see the Mop Tops," that's the Beatles, "try to beat that one."
Oh, fuck.
And then he says something else. He goes, "I'd like to see Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones try to top," like he was literally arguing from like 1965.
The Beach Boys
And the
are
whole
number
place
one.
was like, oh.
Beach Boys fucking rule, dude.
That just moved me. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Fucking pussy ass Beatles.
Beatles are fucking pussies.
Mick Jagger's a bitch, dude.
Yeah.
The Beatles are the best. First of all, I love the Beach Boys, but the Beatles are the best because just imagine everybody's trying to be hipper and more bluesy, and these guys will be like, bah, 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 bah. In the middle of their thing, they'll do songs with fucking oboes and kazoos.
Yeah.
That kind of rules. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of badass.
They took it
back.
back for the whites.
They took it back to their stupid dance hall shit from England in the 50s, But that was
Did you
a
watch the
producer.
Get Back documentary?
No.
That made me a Beatlemania.
I heard it was awesome.
I want to see it so badly, but I want to get Disney Plus. I'm just too lazy. I'm sick of putting in passwords.
True.
I can't do it. I have to have a password for Disney Plus. Can't they have one password for everything and just use it? Like one thing you could buy a subscription.
It's communism, dude. We almost had it. We fought it off.
What's that now?
Yeah, it was communism. We almost had it.
Yeah,
Communism
we were all
has
on
one
one
password.
One password.
That would
Good.
get me, actually. Like, dude, everything's on one thing. Just put on your gray sweatsuit.
But the Beatles were, they were part of that. Music was, you're right, like music was really part of what people at that time, like I remember it was such a Vietnam thing. Like you would see these shows, and even as little kids, we knew, like if you'd watch like the Dean Martin show, because we watch everything, you were a little kid. And you watch like, the Dean Martin had a TV show, and you knew they were pro-war. And then you watch, almost no other TV show was anti-war, really. Laughing was a little bit, And
Which one was anti-war?
what, Laughing?
Yeah,
I'm saying like all these shows on TV. So they have these old people, and you'd think, even though we're like 7 years old, like those are the squares. Like, you know what I mean? They were like pro-war, and then you see
So
like
it was cool. It was cool to be anti-war when you were young.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, that was like the hip thing.
Oh, so you're saying like the sanctioned station shows were just kind of
Yeah, like most of you knew like they were squares, even though we were little kids. We knew they're squares.
So the shows of that time were supporting a horrific war and like a horrific kind
But
of
they weren't really
government thing.
supporting it, but you just kind of knew
No way.
that was like the way it was in some weird way. You could sense like that was it. That's why Saturday Night Live was the first really anti-establishment. Like I know the Smothers Brothers and all this other stuff, but
Still are.
Saturday Night Live.
SNL's, they go against the grain.
Oh yeah,
Way big time, dude.
yeah. But I mean, at that when they first started. But again, it wasn't political by then.
Yeah.
That was just like, oh shit, these people. We all smoked weed. Like the whole country smoked weed in those days. Everybody got fucking high. It's amazing to me that it wasn't legalized then.
Yeah.
Everybody smoked weed. Everybody had weed on them at all times. Everybody, under age 40. And SNL was the first time people were like wearing tie-dyed shirts on TV. Like they didn't dress up and jeans, and you could tell they were stoned, and you could tell they make little jokes the whole show about being stoned. So like that was like it was the most breakthrough thing anyone had seen on TV.
That's kind of nuts to think. When was that?
75, 76.
That's kind of nuts to think about. Yeah.
That was the end of right after the war ended, I guess.
And now,
Yeah.
the major late night shows are just freewheeling. Big time freewheeling.
Now it's just back to Vietnam,
Truth to power.
where they're all like,
Yeah.
Truth to power.
you better listen to the government.
True.
Like, all right.
Yep.
It's
The
kind of
government's
fucked up.
right.
Dude, I'm telling you, I talked about that earlier. It's the concept of enantiodromia, where anything at its absolute extreme flips into its opposite.
Yeah.
Sure. What do you call it? Anti what?
And I think I'm not pronouncing it right, but enantiodromia.
I'm not sure.
It's a swing of the pendulum, dude.
Yeah.
The pendulum's reaching just to go back.
Can't
to
you
the
say
other
swing
side.
of the pendulum is more poetic?
Yeah,
Why do you
true.
have
I
to
should
use a
say that.
scientific term for something that was beautifully...
It just sounds cool.
No, swing of pendulum sounds cool.
The pendulum swing. The
Pendulum
zenith, of the,
sounds
the
cool.
zenith of the pendulum is just the beginning of it going back
like
to the
that
other
pit in the
state.
pendulum. I like that. I mean, that's not what you're saying, but pendulum is much cooler than antiodromia.
Okay.
Yeah. Matt,
Fair
shut
enough.
the fuck
Matt,
up. What are you
listen
thinking?
to me.
Sorry, guys.
Poetry.
I thought I was doing something.
Poetic.
Antiodromia was nice.
My eye hurts.
What's the fucking snake eating itself?
Ouroboros.
That thing too.
That too.
Yeah, that's in there too. We got that.
You know what I'm
Snake
saying?
eating itself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Fucking
Yeah,
whatever.
Ouroboros, dude.
What do you
Yeah.
call it?
Ouroboros.
Ouroboros.
Cosmic Star, yeah.
But does it
Yeah.
really eat itself or does it just appear to eat its own skin?
That's the question.
Really? Nobody knows?
Gosh. Let's get back to Vietnam, dude.
How about King Rat? I like that one too.
What's King
What's
Rat?
that?
All the rats are in a circle together. Do you know that one? Yeah, they all like eat. What do? Their tails get caught together and they end up.
Oh yeah, a rat net, like when their tails get knotted together. You ever see that?
Oh, fuck.
It's
That's what a
fucking
King Rat is?
disgusting.
Ew. Yeah.
And what do they bite each other to death?
I
Probably.
don't know.
That's what rats for sure.
Oh
You ever
my
see
God.
rats get killed by terriers?
Yes,
That's
Pretty fun to
fantastic.
watch.
the greatest.
Yeah.
It's like in Northern
really
England.
fun to
They're like,
watch.
okay, well, let
Yeah,
me
they
go.
just dig them up.
Oh.
And, yeah.
Yeah, it is the best.
That's good.
It's the best. See them scared for once.
Yeah.
Not so tough.
I don't mind the rats in New York.
You don't?
They don't affect me.
Nah, they start.
That's because you live in a story where it's a.
There's almost no rats up here.
That's right, because it's
Yeah.
all. Well, I'll tell you where they are.
They eat
Probably right by the that little area near the airport.
Although I
Probably.
saw one last night for the first time,
Big
like
boy.
on my front porch there.
Right here.
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen one.
It's called an airway.
What is it called?
Airway.
Airway? Front porch.
Well, there's no porch.
Well, you don't have to be poetic about it.
No, but airways. But I'm being New York about it. Call it airway.
You call it an airway?
Yeah.
I'm not in New York at all.
Yeah, but since you're living in.
I know. I'm working on it.
Airway. Why do they call them an airway?
I don't know.
What?
That's what we call them growing up. Airway.
Oh, you're from New York.
Yeah,
Where in New York?
Brooklyn.
How do you feel about Brooklyn now?
Oh, it's fantastic. Well, I mean, I have mixed feelings because, like I said, if it had kept going the way it was going, it wouldn't exist anyway.
True.
Obviously now this.
That's an antiodromia.
I was gonna say it's either way.
Yeah.
The extreme now is the other thing.
Mobsters and white pussies.
Antiodromia. I'm starting to like antiodromia now.
Hell yeah. None of us are saying it right.
But
I'm
only-
pretty sure.
Yeah,
That is
My
the
girlfriend
thing.
likes Brooklyn.
she
I
does.
like Queens.
You do, yeah.
I like this. This is good. This neighborhood's good.
I used to live up the block.
Yeah, that's crazy. You lived right
I lived
there.
right up the block. I lived on 42nd Street and 30th Avenue.
Yeah,
What?
there's a bar there called Blackbirds. I don't know if it was around back then.
Well, back then, Suspenders. Suspenders, the fireman bar on 37th and 3rd. They used to have a location over there.
okay.
The bus terminal's still over here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I live, right near the bus terminal.
Fuck
It's
yeah.
wild.
It's crazy to me.
I
Walking on
I
the train is a
kind
pain
of
in
like
my
seeing
ass.
the rats though. Like
You do?
when I walk from the stand and the cellar, like back and forth, you walk through. I guess it's Washington, not Washington Square Park. I think Grant. What park's right by the
You
stand?
talk about like by Irving
Union
Place?
Square. Union Square. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
And the wall, the park's like shoulder level. It's a little
Yes.
elevated, so you see the rats like see them
On
running
the
around
wall?
like right next to you.
They love a wall, don't they?
Yeah,
They love a
Wait, so
trail.
did you see the dude? Did you see like 42nd Street back in its heyday?
I didn't just see it. I
What was it like?
indulged in it.
What was it like?
It was like
That was a glorious fapping at a peep show.
it was yeah, it was I mean, I was a kid, so to me it
Oh,
was
that's
very
perfect.
exciting. I was
That's perfect.
19, 18, but
wait,
it
where?
was, it
42nd
was like
Street
that.
Deuce.
Honestly,
Oh shit!
42nd Street back
I
when
thought
it
you were
was,
talking about this street. I was like, what the
I'd
fuck?
I'd
is going on here?
fap
This is 42nd
I'd
Street.
fap on 40. I'd fap here.
I do whack off on
Just the
42nd
Greek
Street.
guys. Just the Greek guys drinking like sparkling waters.
Wait, when you lived here, was it all fucking Greeks and Russians and Arabs here?
it was Greeks. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was all Greeks. Back then, it was all Greeks. Yeah, I lived here in the 80s,
yeah,
probably 85, 86,
Damn.
and I feel like it was yesterday.
really.
I feel like I was just here. I was like, yeah, I used to live around here. It was 100 years ago, and I'm like, Yeah, it just feels like it was yesterday.
That's crazy.
That is fucked
I feel
up.
like it was just like 3 summers ago.
So you lived it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you love the Deuce, the show.
I like that show. I like
And
the
you
idea
lived
of
that
witnessing
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I was in Times Square it's funny because the 70s to me, when I was a kid, like teenager, and we go to Times Square, it was wild. But the 80s, it was a little more dangerous in a different way. I can't really describe why, because it was the same, but the 70s was like more like the Deuce.
Yeah.
And then the 80s was like these huge gangs, but the 70s there were huge gangs too. So sometimes you'd be on 42nd Street and a swarm of kids get off the train and just start robbing the few unshady people that were there and just start knocking shit over, ripping. It was the early days of camcorders. So you see the kids waving the trophy for camcorder, you know what I mean? Gang. But so it got a little wild, but I mean, and, but like I said, I did a whole show about those days in New York. And one of the things I talk about is how people would go to a play and nobody went for dinner or drinks after Broadway show. You went right, get the train or cab and get the hell out
Took
of there
off, yeah.
immediately. Nobody would hang out after. You'd have dinner before or everything was shut down by 11 o'clock
Really?
after a play. Yeah, no, the streets would desert. All Times Square was crowded, but with dirt bags and a few tourists that are like, what am I doing here? But the Broadway's, all like 8th Avenue, all those restaurants, all shut by 11 o'clock.
Damn. But you were saying as a teenager, you had access.
We
to-
loved it. You just
could-
take the train right here.
Damn, you can just go
And
to
I
a
lived
lady with a
in
bush.
the 80s, mid-80s, I lived in 45th Street, 9th Avenue. So I was always in Midtown in the middle of the heyday of all that stuff. You know?
Yeah, it's crazy. That used to be like severely fucked up over there. Now it's just like
It was really bad. Yeah.
that's
You
awesome.
missed when it was shitty?
Yeah, I mean, you miss it, of course, but, you're looking with rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it
Like
was
if you were
very
there
bad.
now, you'd be mad.
Oh, yeah. Well, even then, I knew you could die. There was a lot of bad shit going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even,
So you always remember like, oh, this, but it wasn't some fun glam.
Yeah.
Taxi Driver is fun to watch as a movie, but when you're in the middle of it, it's like, yeah, no, it was really bad.
yeah, because even what was that Bruce Willis movie where it's shot in Philadelphia in the 80s and it's just terrifying? 12 Monkeys, was it?
Oh,
Or-
yeah.
They shot a Bruce Willis movie in the 80s in Philly and it looks crazy how fucked up it was.
12 Monkeys in the late 90s.
Was that late 90s?
But that's Philly. You have to subtract 10 years from
New
every
York.
other
Yeah,
place.
true.
Philly's fucking shitty,
I
dude.
know.
Philly's New York in the 70s. I used to always say that.
Yeah, it's
It's,
still.
I was talking to Laura outside,
yeah.
and I go, oh, you're from Philly? I like Philly. She goes, yeah, it's screwed up now.
You should.
the people from there.
I can't stop talking about it. I've talked about it. We
Kensington.
were just down, dude. Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia
Yes.
is fucking crazy.
I know.
I've never seen anything like it.
It's like the
It's
Bowery.
truly a national disaster.
It's a national. It looks
It's
like
a
zombie
major-
apocalypse. It was
it's-
zombie apocalypse.
We were filming our sketch show down there last 2 weeks ago, and I would just drive after every shoot. It'd be like 1 or 2 in the morning, so I would drive up and down Kensington Ave, and I've never, dude, people injecting into their necks, into open fucking wounds on their legs and shit.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
Well, apparently-
somebody should do something.
It's tough. They're
But
saying.
isn't it interesting? Like what? This is the problem with democracy. You can't just do something.
Yeah,
You have to make sure everybody's on board. Everybody understands. Even the people you want to stop have to be on board.
yeah.
That's the problem with democracy.
yeah.
Yeah, but if it was communism,
Well, I'd say
they'd be up
communism.
against the wall.
I was saying fascism,
Yeah,
monarchy,
yeah.
theocracy,
True. I like a nice.
We do need to fucking
Timocracy.
get a nice theocracy. What's a timocracy?
aristocracy.
What's a timocracy?
That's a good question. I think it's a combination of, it's one of those old like Plato things, where they have timocracy.
Yeah.
And I think it's a combination. Well, we'll have to look up. I don't want to say that. I think it's a combination of what citizens, nice. Okay.
What is it?
Oh, there you go. Oh, I thought you knew it.
Okay. I
You
think
need to own property to do things in the government.
a timocracy. All right, fair enough.
So like a limited aristocracy. I
All right.
like it.
I wouldn't mind that a little bit, maybe. Homeowner. Not bragging. I'm a homeowner.
Taking my dad and friend from back home and brother-in-law to the Yankees game tonight.
You are?
Yeah, I'm excited. We got the front row seats from the boss over there. That's
Steinbrenner?
yeah, SNL.
Are you
Oh, really?
Yeah.
bringing
yeah.
a glove?
I might catch a foul ball behind the net.
Gloves,
Just-
dude.